Imagine waking up every day only to realize that invisible forces are quietly stealing your chance at the life you truly deserve. These aren't loud, dramatic villains. They're silent traps, toxic habits, distractions, and mental patterns so subtle they slip past your awareness but rob your potential relentlessly. This video dives deep into those hidden thieves, revealing how procrastination chains you to frustration, how the desperate chase for others' approval muffles your authentic self, and why endless talk without action leaves you stuck in place. You'll discover the Stoic power of pausing before reacting, so you can reclaim control over your choices rather than being swept away by impulsive emotions. Social media scrolls and constant comparisons. They're cunning distractions that drain your focus and blind you to your unique path. We'll also confront the uncomfortable truth. Growth demands embracing discomfort, not avoiding it. And that complaining without solving only deepens the trap. Holding on to grudges? That's emotional quicksand that halts your progress. Living on autopilot, numbed by routine, is the most dangerous trap of all, risking a life half-lived. This journey isn't about escape, but awakening, building awareness, questioning habits, and actively shaping a life rich in purpose and virtue. By the end, you won't just see these 12 traps. You'll feel compelled to break free from them, stepping boldly into the transformation that Stoic wisdom offers, where mastery over self leads to true freedom and the fulfillment you deserve. Silent traps stealing your deserved life right now. 1. The procrastination prison. 2. The approval addiction. 3. The paralyzing power of empty words. 4. The reaction reflex trap. 5. The social media mirage. 6. The comparison curse. 7. The comfort avoidance barrier. 8. The complaint loop. 9. The focus thief. 10. The grudge burden. 11. The autopilot illusion. 12. The resistance to change. If this journey into self-awareness is resonating with you, if you're starting to see these invisible chains in your own life, then please take a moment to like this video. Your engagement helps this message reach more people who are also seeking clarity and the strength to reclaim their deserved life. And if you know someone wrestling with these very struggles, share this channel with them. Together, we can build a community dedicated to practical wisdom and profound personal growth. We've been unmasking the silent thieves that operate in the shadows of our daily lives. These subtle traps that chip away at our potential, our peace, and our purpose. From the paralysis of procrastination to the mirage of social media. From the endless loop of complaints to the burden of comparison. Each one demands our conscious awareness to be disarmed. We've seen how our knee-jerk reactions often steal our power, and how the avoidance of discomfort stunts our growth. Now, let's continue our exploration, turning our gaze to the final, often most insidious traps that prevent us from stepping into the life we truly deserve. 10. The grudge burden. Imagine carrying a heavy, invisible backpack filled with rocks. Each rock represents a past slight, an injustice, a harsh word, a betrayal. You might not see the backpack, but its weight is undeniable. This, my friends, is the grudge burden, the 10th silent trap stealing your life. It's the act of holding on to resentment, of replaying past offenses in your mind, of letting bitterness fester long after the event itself has passed. The Stoics understood that the past is immutable. What has happened has happened. To hold a grudge is to chain yourself to an event that is no longer occurring, to allow someone else's past actions to continue to exert power over your present emotional state. Seneca, with his profound insights into human nature, might have observed that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The only one suffering is you. How does the grudge burden steal your life? It robs you of your peace of mind first and foremost. Your mental space becomes a battleground where old wounds are constantly reopened. Every time you revisit that memory, that perceived wrong, you're not just remembering it. You're reliving the negative emotions associated with it. This saps your energy, distorts your perception of the present, and prevents you from fully engaging with the joy and opportunity that stands before you. Consider the energy drain. When you cling to a grudge, a significant portion of your mental and emotional bandwidth is occupied. It's like having an open application constantly running in the background of your mind, consuming vital processing power. This leaves less room for creativity, for problem solving, for genuine connection, and for pursuing your goals with clarity and vigor. You become preoccupied with what was, rather than focused on what can be. Furthermore, grudges often poison your relationships. They build walls, create distance, and prevent authentic reconciliation, even if it's with yourself. You might avoid certain people or conversations, or approach them with a defensive, cynical attitude born from past hurts. This can lead to isolation, loneliness, and a deep-seated distrust that makes it difficult to form new, healthy bonds. Even if the person who wronged you is no longer in your life, the ghost of the grudge can haunt your interactions with everyone else, projecting past pain onto present connections. From a Stoic perspective, holding a grudge is a profound misunderstanding of what is within our control. We cannot control what others do, nor can we change the past. Our power lies solely in our response, in how we choose to interpret and react to events. To hold a grudge is to surrender that power, to give an external event and the person responsible for it a permanent residence in your inner citadel, allowing them to disturb your tranquility long after they have physically left your space. The path to releasing the grudge burden isn't about condoning the actions of others or pretending the hurt never happened. It's about a conscious act of self-liberation. It's about recognizing that forgiveness, in its purest Stoic sense, is not a gift you give to someone else. It's a gift you give to yourself. It's the decision to dismantle that invisible prison you've built around your own heart and mind. How can we apply Stoic wisdom to shed this heavy load? Focus on your inner state. Epictetus teaches us that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The original offense might have been an external event, but your continued anger and resentment are internal judgments, and thus within your control. You have the power to change these judgments. Practice empathy, even for those who hurt you. This isn't about excusing bad behavior, but about understanding the human condition. Often, people act out of ignorance, fear, pain, or flawed reasoning. Recognizing that others, like us, are imperfect beings navigating a complex world can soften the edge of resentment. As Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, most people don't know any better. When you are offended by someone's impudence, ask yourself at once, can the world exist without impudent people? The memento mori reflection. Life is finite. Our time is precious. Is this grudge, this constant replaying of past wrongs truly the best use of the limited time you have been given? When you consider the brevity of existence, many grudges lose their monumental importance, shrinking to trivialities that aren't worth sacrificing your present joy for. Choose peace over being right. Sometimes, holding a grudge is fueled by a desperate need to be validated, to prove that you were wronged. But what is the cost of that validation? Often, it's your own peace. The Stoics would urge you to prioritize your inner tranquility, your ataraxia, above the fleeting satisfaction of being right in a narrative that only exists in your head. Releasing a grudge doesn't mean you have to embrace the person who caused it, or forget the lesson learned. It simply means you decide to stop letting their past actions define your present emotions and future possibilities. It means emptying that heavy backpack, rock by rock, and feeling the lightness return, allowing you to walk forward unburdened, ready to engage with life as it is, not as it was. 11. The autopilot illusion. Have you ever driven a familiar route, arrived at your destination, and realized you don't remember much of the journey? Your body was present, performing the necessary actions, but your mind was somewhere else, lost in thought, or simply blank. This state, multiplied across many aspects of your life, is the autopilot illusion, the 11th silent trap. It's living without conscious awareness, numbed by routine, reacting habitually instead of intentionally choosing. In a world that constantly demands our attention, it's easy to fall into this trap. We scroll endlessly through social media feeds, eat meals without tasting them, perform work tasks without engagement, and even have conversations where we're listening only enough to formulate our next response, rather than truly hearing. We become passengers in our own lives, letting external stimuli and ingrained habits dictate our path, rather than actively steering. The autopilot illusion steals your life by robbing you of presence, meaning, and true experience. You're existing, but you're not living. Moments of beauty, opportunities for insight, subtle cues from loved ones, all these pass by unnoticed because your consciousness is simply not engaged. It's a life half-lived, where the richness and texture of experience are flattened into a bland, repetitive stream. Think of how much of your day is spent in this unconscious state. Your morning routine, your commute, your lunch break, your evenings in front of a screen. Each of these segments, if approached without intention, becomes a lost opportunity for growth, for connection, for genuine enjoyment. You might feel a vague sense of dissatisfaction or unfulfillment, even if your life on paper seems active and full. This is because true fulfillment doesn't come from activity alone, but from conscious engagement with that activity. The Stoics were masters of presence and intentionality. Their emphasis on mindfulness, on prosoche, the continuous, vigilant attention to oneself, was a direct antidote to the autopilot illusion. They understood that virtue, or arete, could only be practiced through conscious choice. You cannot act virtuously if you are not even aware of your actions, your thoughts, and your impulses. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to be present, to examine his impressions, to act deliberately. He saw the mind as a fortress, and he was its vigilant guard, ensuring that nothing entered or exited without his conscious inspection. He wouldn't allow himself to drift through his imperial duties, nor through his moments of reflection. Every interaction, every task, was an opportunity for virtuous action and conscious engagement. How can we break free from the autopilot illusion and reclaim our presence? Start with intentional mornings. Instead of immediately grabbing your phone or diving into chores, dedicate the first few minutes of your day to conscious awareness. Practice gratitude. Set an intention for the day, or simply sit in silence, observing your breath. This deliberate start sets a tone for conscious living. Practice mindful consumption. Whether it's food, information, or entertainment, engage with it mindfully. When you eat, taste each bite. Notice the textures and flavors. When you read, truly absorb the words. Reflect on their meaning. When you interact with social media, do so with a specific purpose, and notice how it makes you feel. This awareness transforms passive consumption into active engagement. Scheduled awareness breaks. Set an alarm for a few times throughout the day. When it rings, pause. Take a deep breath. Notice your surroundings, your body, your thoughts. Ask yourself, am I fully present right now? Am I acting intentionally or on autopilot? This simple practice can re-anchor you to the present moment. Engage in active listening. In conversations, make a conscious effort to truly listen. Not just wait for your turn to speak. Put away distractions. Maintain eye contact. Ask clarifying questions. This not only deepens your connections, but also brings you fully into the present interaction. Reflect on your habits. Regularly examine your routines. Which ones serve you? Which ones are you doing simply out of habit, without conscious benefit? Can you inject more intentionality into these routines, or replace them with more enriching activities? This self-examination, a core Stoic practice, reveals the areas where autopilot has taken over. Breaking free from the autopilot illusion isn't about being perpetually intense or hyper-focused. It's about bringing a gentle, sustained awareness to your life, allowing you to taste, see, hear, and feel the richness of each moment. It's about choosing to be awake, to be present, and to consciously shape your experiences, rather than letting them happen to you. It's how we transform a series of passing moments into a life truly lived, a life rich in meaning and purpose. 12. The resistance to change. The final and perhaps most fundamental silent trap we must confront is the resistance to change. It is the deep-seated human tendency to cling to the familiar, to fear the unknown, to prefer the comfortable rut over the challenging ascent. It manifests as stubbornness, aversion to new ideas, a reluctance to let go of old ways of being, even when those ways are clearly holding us back. This trap steals your life by condemning you to stagnation. Life, by its very nature, is a dynamic process of constant flux. Everything changes. Seasons, relationships, circumstances, our own bodies and minds. To resist change is to fight against the fundamental current of existence. When we resist, we become rigid, brittle, and incapable of adapting, which is a sure path to being left behind, feeling overwhelmed, and ultimately diminishing our potential for growth and fulfillment. Consider the opportunities lost, the new skill that could open doors, a difficult conversation that could heal a relationship, a new perspective that could broaden your understanding. All these lie on the other side of change, but your resistance keeps them out of reach. You might cling to a job that no longer serves you, a relationship that has become toxic, or a set of beliefs that are outdated and limiting, simply because the thought of altering them feels too daunting. This attachment to the known, even when it's detrimental, traps you in a cycle of unfulfilled potential. Moreover, resistance to change creates immense internal friction. You become a battlefield of conflicting desires, the desire for growth and improvement warring with the comfort of the status quo. This internal conflict is a significant source of anxiety, stress, and dissatisfaction. It prevents you from fully committing to a path, leaving you in a perpetual state of indecision and unease. The Stoics, far from fearing change, embraced it as an inherent aspect of the cosmos. Heraclitus famously declared, "The only constant is change," a truth that profoundly influenced Stoic thought. To them, the universe operates according to a rational, ever-evolving design, and our role as rational beings is to align ourselves with this flow, not to fight against it. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, frequently reflected on the fleeting nature of things and the constant transformation of existence. He saw it not as a threat, but as an opportunity for renewal and for practicing virtue. For him, adapting to change, embracing the new circumstances fate throws our way, was a testament to our resilience and our commitment to reason. Constantly think of the universe as one living being, having one substance and one soul, and how all things are absorbed into its single consciousness, and how it carries out all its movements through a single impulse, and how all existing things are cooperative causes of all existing things, and how the succession of things is in continuous series, and the order of their causes, and the harmony of all. To resist change is to reject this fundamental harmony. How can we cultivate a Stoic disposition towards change and transform this trap into a catalyst for growth? Embrace amor fati, love of fate. This powerful Stoic concept isn't about passive resignation, but active, joyful acceptance of everything that happens, including change. It means saying yes to life with all its unpredictable shifts and turns. When you truly love your fate, you don't merely tolerate change. You welcome it as an essential ingredient for your development. You see challenges not as obstacles to avoid, but as opportunities to apply your virtues. Reframe discomfort as growth. Change is almost always accompanied by discomfort. Our brains are wired to seek comfort and safety, but the Stoics teach us that growth happens precisely at the edge of our comfort zone. View discomfort not as a signal to retreat, but as an indicator that you are pushing boundaries, learning, and becoming stronger. Seneca's maxim, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult," applies perfectly here. Take small, deliberate steps into discomfort. Focus on what's within your control. While you cannot control the fact of change itself, you absolutely control your attitude towards it, your interpretation of it, and your response to it. This is the bedrock of Stoic philosophy. Instead of wasting energy wishing things were different, direct your energy towards adapting intelligently and virtuously to the new reality. Cultivate resilience through adversity. The Stoics believe that adversity, and thus change, is nature's way of strengthening us. Just as a blacksmith tempers steel with fire, life tempers our character with challenges. Each time you face a change, large or small, you have an opportunity to practice courage, patience, prudence, and justice. Over time, this builds an inner citadel of resilience, making you less fearful of future changes. Practice letting go. Much of our resistance comes from attachment to ideas, to possessions, to relationships, to our identity. The Stoics understood the transient nature of all external things. Practice mental exercises of detachment. Imagine losing something you value. How would you cope? This isn't about being careless, but about cultivating inner freedom. understanding that your true well-being does not depend on externals. Overcoming the resistance to change means cultivating a flexible mind, an open heart, and a courageous spirit. It means understanding that growth is impossible without transformation, and transformation requires us to step into the unknown. It is through this embrace of flux, this willingness to adapt and evolve, that we truly unlock our potential and live a life of vibrant engagement, continuous learning, and profound freedom. We've journeyed through 12 silent traps, each one a subtle but powerful force designed to keep you from the life you truly deserve. From the seductive comfort of procrastination to the invisible weight of grudges, from the blinding social media mirage to the numbing autopilot illusion, and finally, to the fundamental resistance to the very change that fuels growth. Each of these traps has one thing in common. They operate by stealing your power, your presence, and your potential, often without your conscious awareness. But the good news, the profound truth that Stoicism offers, is this: you have the power to dismantle every single one of them. Not by fighting against external circumstances, but by turning inward, by cultivating self-awareness, by sharpening your judgment, and by taking deliberate, virtuous action. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely observed, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This isn't just a philosophical maxim. It's a practical roadmap to freedom. The perceived villains in our story, procrastination, comparison, anger, fear of change, are not external forces that control you. They are patterns of thought and behavior that you have the ultimate authority to challenge, to modify, and to overcome. The journey isn't about escaping the world, but about mastering your inner world so that you can engage with the outer world with wisdom, courage, and tranquility. It's about building an inner citadel so strong that no external storm can shake it, and no internal weakness can compromise it. It's about transforming from a passenger in your own life to the conscious, deliberate architect of your destiny. So I leave you with this provocation. Which of these traps has held you captive the longest? What is the one silent thief you are ready to expose and disarm, starting today? What small, intentional step will you take to reclaim a piece of the life you truly deserve? The path to a life rich in purpose and virtue is not found in grand gestures, but in the consistent, conscious choice to exercise your inner power, to question your habits, and to live with intentionality. The freedom you seek is not out there. It has always been within you, waiting for you to claim it. If this exploration has sparked a shift in your perspective, or inspired you to make even one small change, please let me know in the comments below. Your insights and experiences are invaluable. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more practical Stoic wisdom to navigate the complexities of modern life. Thank you for joining me on this journey of awakening.